Welcome back to the Minnesota Amateur Championships. This is the middle 9 we have here, coming at you from Parse Productions. Just want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. We have OTB Discs, Rubber Bandits, Social CBD, and Hammock Gear. We appreciate all you guys. Make sure you support them. My name is Ben Kroll.
And Derek Sahr. We have quite a battle on our hands, and that first part was pretty exciting.
Yeah, we got a couple guys here really starting to stretch this lead. Either going to fall off or the other guy's going to have to pick up the pace here.
Yeah, and this is a hole 10 you really want to get. It's right there. It's one of the shortest, if not the shortest hole on the course.
Yeah, at 179 feet, a little bit tight off the tee here, about halfway down the fairway. But even if you hit those first couple trees, you still have about 50, 60 feet. And we saw Joel do pretty well, hit a late tree. Carl doing a little bit of the same, maybe going just a little long there.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I've actually played with Clay. Used to play a long time ago, kind of with those Austin boys a little bit, and he's got some game. I played with him at Okoboji. He's got some real game.
And Clay's actually from Rochester. That's where I'm from as well too. So
nice.
I've known Clay quite a while here. I remember when he first got sponsored by DGA, and he's a solid player. We haven't seen him much on the course lately, but good to see him back out here.
Yeah, and this is everybody knows Grant's one of my good buddies. I believe he has an Envy here in his hand.
Yeah, and him and Joel are off to a really good battle here.
It's like he pulled that shot just a little bit, but as long as you get through that initial gap, you should have a look.
Yeah, he's got a long one here with some obstruction as well, too.
Grant is quite good at jump putting as well, and it's so exciting to see him. Nothing is out of his range. Oh.
That did not miss by much. As you can see, it's a little windy today, but the sun is shining. Always a good sign.
Yeah, and man, seeing Carl's forehands is something special. He's got one of the biggest forehands in the game. I love watching it. I could watch this coverage all day of it.
Yeah, that's what makes disc golf so fun as well. There's just so many different types of shots out there and so many different styles of game, and any one of those can look well.
Clay looking a little obstructed here, being a little bit long. After seeing some of those pars, I'm sure he's really wanting to get this birdie. I know Clay, the reason why he hasn't been disc golfing as much is because he's been touring with his band. So, huge shout out to them. They make some pretty good stuff.
And I believe his band is his brothers as well, too. So,
oh, that's awesome.
If I remember right.
Oh, no. Little, kind of want to draw metal there. A little bit of meat left on the bone here.
Solid putt back there by Clay.
Joel and these guys just cleaning it up. Yeah, like you said, Ben, the weather's great on this day. You know, a little bit breezy on those open holes that we saw earlier, but it gets wooded. This is where it really starts to come into play of the true woods of Kaposia.
Yep. And Joel taking a stroke on these guys. On the shortest hole on the course, we see one birdie on the card.
Yeah, still a tight battle. Anybody's game. I've seen 3-4 stroke swings on just one single hole out here because it's so tightly wooded.
Yep, and this hole 11 here is one of those holes as well. Anywhere from a deuce to a double bogey can happen on this hole. Slightly downhill, 380 feet or so, and the slope of the hill slightly goes right to left. So these righty backhands, they'll start to finish at the end, and they can really fall off the basket. But Joel playing that very well, landing it very flat. Probably has about 50 feet left or so for his birdie.
Yeah, I won't lie, Ben. I was pretty excited to see Carl throw this hole. It shapes up so well for like a nice flip-up forehand.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky, like you said, it's a flip-up forehand. It's not like a force-over stable disc, and that was a very well-thrown shot by Carl. Going long even on this hole. It's tough to do.
3.8, and he probably threw it about 4.10 there.
Yeah. And we might be saying, Clay, try that really overstable force over shot. And it's just tough to keep this one straight down this fairway. Catches that left side. Hopefully didn't get too bad of a kick. Can get kind of trouble over there.
And Grant here, I believe that is his wave. He likes to throw this forehand. It's actually kind of a flippier disc. Yeah, and he knew he turned it over a little bit.
It's usually more open down to the left than it is to the right, though.
Yeah, you have to get pretty far right. There's that pathway that you walk from the basket to the next tee pad. And that's not bad, but everywhere else over to the right is very, very rough.
Yeah, very thick. Clay is going to find that right side rough here. He had a very tough lie.
And Grant, seeing those shots be within putting range, knows he has to put this close. Wow.
Really good looking line. Just came up short. Probably get 60 feet or more, though.
And here you were mentioning that right side, Ben. So thick.
And Clay's just fighting his way up here. Hopefully he's got something there for a bogey 4 look. And we know Grant's going to be running this putt.
Yeah, he's kind of got that jam putt where it's nice and flat and it just jams into the bottom of the basket. But about as good as you can do when you go off in the rough is taking a 4. It doesn't even feel that bad taking a 4. Especially if you go in early like both of those guys did.
Yep. Joel looking to be the only birdie again. Good bid, keeps it close. Good effort there. Clay in a really tight spot here, going for his bogey.
Just a little low on that jump putt. I think he also had that low ceiling as well.
Yeah, but unfortunately, probably still is going to have a tough putt back there.
Carl picking up some strokes in the card here for potentially.
Yeah, I apologize. I just misspoke. I said Joel had the only chance, but here we go, Carl going long.
Carl's way up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Carl with the lone birdie. Smooth looking putt there.
Very nice, Carl. Looks like he had a bit of an obstructed stance as well. Gets good height on it, good extension.
Yeah, big shout out there from OTB Disc. Be on the lookout for a Parse Productions collaboration with them in the near future here.
Yeah, exciting stuff coming out.
And that was a dead center putt.
Yeah.
I don't think he needed the chains or the pole. It would have just sat right in the basket.
Even on one of those marksmen, it would have just stayed right in there.
Yep.
That is impressive. Great putt.
Clay with just a little bit of work left here for his double bogey 5.
You know, I feel going into tournaments that I know are going to be wooded, I practice a lot more straddle putts because I know there's going to be obstructed putts like these guys both just had. And, you know, I think they do putt a little bit staggered, and practicing your straddle putts before these tournaments are always beneficial.
I think that's an important point that you make there. You got to be practicing for that upcoming tournament, regardless of what that is, whether you're playing an open course, a tight course. You know, you got to make sure you go through those lanes if you have to play that tight course. Sometimes going out to an open field just doesn't get you ready for those wooded courses.
And there you can see the power behind his shot.
A lot of leverage there.
Yeah, and a lot of movement here as well as Clay falls back a little bit here. And only a few strokes separate these guys still.
And Joel extending his lead still, even with the par there.
Hole 12 here. The forehand is very, very tricky. Carl's got a good one.
He's going for a forehand roller. I don't know if it was on purpose or... But it can get tricky over there, but think he's like in the middle of it enough that he might have something to get up and down or even a putt.
Yeah, and Joel here is throwing more of the standard play. You just throw something kind of stable out there. Don't want to turn anything over because you have that roto B, and then you just play for an easy-ish upshot because that green is extremely fast.
And typically only big arms can reach this, especially on that backhand righty hyzer. But we've seen a sweet forehand from T3J if you go back to some of the par save championships footage. So go back, watch those Kaposia rounds.
Yeah, you won't believe the shot that he throws with a forehand on this hole. It just blows everybody's mind that plays that hole and sees it for themselves.
It's tough to tell where Grant landed there. I believe he got through the gap, though, off the tee.
Clay with that standard play as well. Looking a little straight, but I think that's going to hyzer just nicely.
And he does have some big distance. He had all the distance to get to the hole, but he ended up probably about 80 to 100 feet to the right, and there's a lot of woods in between him and the basket now.
Wow, I didn't think his disc got all the way down there.
Yeah, he's got some power. He pumps.
Getting to those woods on the right of the basket is extremely impressive.
And Grant looks like he's in that middle row of trees. Has a little bit of work here, but he has a pretty good forehand. Didn't quite get up all the way. Maybe has an outside look at this.
Oh, Joel pulled it just a little bit.
Still probably going to be about 25 to 30 feet. Definitely have a chance for his birdie 3 on this kind of short par 4.
As you see, Clay having that tough through the woods shot because he threw it so far. Something I don't ever have to worry about on this hole, luckily. Carl, jeez, that was Carl's drive.
Yeah, that was a big drive and
cow.
Fairly routine up and down for him there. Nothing routine about this for Grant.
Yeah, the wind really comes off that little valley you can see in the background there. It feels like it's always a headwind.
It's just so smooth. Just didn't quite push it to the basket.
But Joel missing that birdie putt as well. This is an opportunity for Clay here. Get some back.
Solid putt there.
Yep.
That's a really good up and down from where he was. That's tough to do.
He has such a smooth putt.
And just catching there. Thank you, Social CBD. Again, another one of our sponsors. Make sure you check them out at www.socialcbd.com. Use the ParSave20 at checkout. Get 20% off. They're a great product. We've been seeing a lot of CBD products out there, but these guys are really doing it right. 0% THC in their product. Again, the acceptable usually is at 0.3%. We're doing this right, guys. We're doing it at 0%, giving you just the CBD and those restorative products.
Yeah, and somebody like myself throwing a lot of forehands, even putting it on your elbow can help with that soreness and tightness, and even shoulders for backhands. It really, really can help your game.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate all of our sponsors making this coverage possible for you guys. That's for sure. See all these guys tapping in there. Again, another little shake up there.
Yeah.
A couple birdies, couple pars. As we see Carl and Clay trying to make a move here on Joel and Grant. This is going to be a fun battle here. Again, We're getting into the fun part of Kaposia where your rounds can really go up and down.
My name's Scott Matheson, and I'm a calisthenics athlete. I train with rubber bandits because they improve my strength, my stability, my flexibility, and I can take them anywhere. It's all about training smarter with natural movement. What I love best about rubber bandits is seeing noticeable gains in my physique and my athletic performance. It helped me progress from assisted movements to freestyle flow. Exercise your freedom and join me in the Rubberlution.
And what a great follow-up from Social CB to Rubber Bandits as we're talking about restorative medicine. Here we talk about just staying in good shape, whether you're on the road or whether you're in the off season working out, getting ready for the next season. These guys are doing it right with the Rubber Bandits.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things to do is close the band into the door and pull across your chest, kind of what pitchers do in baseball, and it really, really does strengthen your arm and helps you with that flexibility as well.
Yep, and they do have a code as well too, PARSAVE at their checkout. These are all going to be in the links in the description as well too, so check them out. So Carl just give us a good opportunity for a birdie, and Clay may pulling it over a little bit.
Yeah, 13 is it's so straight that you don't know whether to throw a forehand flip up or a backhand turnover right into it, or just something dead. It's you can see the basket the whole way, and it's like a tunnel shot in a sense.
And that was a perfect shot there by Joel. And I'm going for those field goal posts as you saw him just go through. And that's all I'm thinking about on this hole. Just get through those posts.
Yeah, I'd really like to see Grant start turning it on here.
Yeah, he's had a few holes here in a row. He's definitely due for a birdie. This is his kind of shot. And not too bad. Gets a nice little kick there back towards the hole. Must have thrown a pretty overstable mid there. Didn't want to turn over much on that pretty flat shot. Gorgeous looking up and down there from Clay. Got a little bit of work left, but I got all the confidence in the world he'll hit that. Yeah, Joel.
And I believe that was a reactor from Grant. Actually, I do play with Grant quite a bit, so I know his bag pretty well. But kind of more of a stable mid-range. You can put some torque on it.
Yep. Carl not wanting to lose another stroke to Joel as Joel keeps stepping up his game.
Oh, no.
And just ended up just a little short there. It was right on line.
Nice putt by Clay.
Solid putt.
Yeah, like I was saying with the wind earlier, it really becomes less of a factor the deeper into these woods you go. Good birdie from Grant.
Yeah, I really like Kaposia Park. It's one of my favorite disc golf courses in the state. One of the oldest courses in the state as well, too. So you can see we got the Mach 3s out here, but they got some new Prodigy baskets, and they were due for an upgrade, that's for sure. We see our top guys here, Joel and Grant, getting birdies on the card and extending their lead again over Clay and Carl.
Hole 14, 241 feet. You really just want to finish right on this hill, because if you have something that hyzers left, it goes way downhill.
God, really good looking shot there from Joel. Kind of between a putter and a mid for most players, I feel like. But yes, like Derek said, you really want to get that disc flipping up straight, almost turning over a little bit. Because if it starts fading out and it's got some height on it, it's going to go quite a ways down that hill. Joel still has some work to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you really can't tell how far down the hill it goes. So, Grant right now is thinking he's parked up, so he's got to make something happen.
And he did kick back to the center of the fairway, but he's got about a 50-foot death putt there. There's those 3 white birches on the right there that kind of make up the line for a righty. If you flip it up too straight, a lot of times you hit those trees, but Carl with his forehand, that thing was blasted.
That's actually my preferred route on this, is to play a forehand and just have it hyzer off into the hillside a little bit, or into those woods, I should say. But
almost went too straight too long there, though.
He got a little too straight.
I do think that's a better line for the hole. Keeps in the fairway a little bit longer, doesn't push those trees, but then we got Clay throwing the perfect shot there.
And I actually like those trees being a bit of a backstop there, because everybody knows that they're there. You've played the course, and you just think hit those logs, and you'll sit right by the basket.
And it's a big tree that's down there too, so it's kind of cool to see that big of a tree and that big of a root that's up.
And a very smart play by Grant. That, he's been making his way into the pro scene, and that right there is 1,000 rated golf. Laying up that shot, knowing that he can't hit that putt from that. He could, but he's laying up.
It's all about managing the course and managing your strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes you just know when not to go for something. And there's Joel. Good 25, 27 feet uphill, solid right in the center of that pole. Clay about the same distance, but he's level with the hole. Might have those 2 trees to think about. Solid putt, dead center. He's got that hyzer release, but it pushes straight the whole way.
Yeah, I think you were right. I think that was just a natural putt for him. Those trees being in the way for somebody like myself, being a pretty flat putter. For him, it was just a normal hyzer putt. Another day, another birdie.
Yep. And big shout out to Hammock Gear, as you saw there. Another great product here that we have sponsoring the Parsay Productions.
Yeah, I've never seen like a bug net go over a hammock, and they have some awesome products that not only are they comfortable, but just thinking outside the box, and that is, in my eyes, really cool.
Yeah, the one thing I saw that I didn't ever see before was their quilt that goes around the hammock. Also acts like a support system. Allows you to really sleep in a hammock without feeling bowed down or bending down.
Yep, because I've slept in a hammock before and I felt the back in the morning, that's for sure. But yeah, definitely want to try one of these out as soon as I'm able to.
And Joel extending his lead yet again. 4 strokes on the card right now, and he's making a case for the Minnesota Am champion right now.
Yeah, he really, really is.
And here we have hole 15, 413 feet, par 4. Again, kind of a shorter sided par 4, but this has all the trouble in the world. This is one of the tighter holes on the course. It kind of favors a righty hyzer backhand and then like a lefty hyzer backhand on the second shot. So you kind of need both those, right to left, then left to right, to attack this hole.
Yeah, and Joel put it in a premium spot.
Yeah.
You just want to throw something. I like to throw something, my second, stable disc, because I like to push that backside a little bit and get some distance. About where Clay is.
And Clay really got some distance there. He
Yeah.
even came inside and still got that nice straight skip at the end. He's probably only got about 100 feet left, if that. Again, 413 feet doesn't really talk about how far this actual hole is. And that is how you try to park the hole, but he just hit that inside tree and looked like he was getting a bad roll down that hill. It gets pretty steep if you get maybe more than 50 feet off the fairway.
Yeah, and kind of a cool thing that Grant's doing this tournament. Him and I talked about. He's trying out headphones for the first time during this tournament. So if you see him kind of adjusting something in his ear, that's what it is. He wants to try just putting headphones in. Still talking to the card and being friendly, but just trying something different. Switch it up.
And he threw a rip of a shot there. I just
Yeah.
think it might have went a little too straight. We'll have to see what he has for a lie. Yeah, the headphones have something I've never really got into, but you see it work for a lot of players.
Yeah, Johnny McRae being one of the main ones that I know. He always has headphones in. He shoots all right.
Yeah, sometimes you just need some positivity. Sometimes you need to kind of get out of your own head sometimes. Carl throwing a really nice shot, but caught one of those late trees. I don't think he's got much of a putt there. Probably just going to be an up and down for his 4.
Joel in a pretty good spot here. Oh, no, it looks like he turned his forehand over a little bit too much.
Yep, and he's going to be similar to where Carl was, maybe a little further up, but both of them are going to be pretty obstructed in the woods there. And there's a walking path on the side of this fairway that he is actually in this walking path.
Wow.
Great up and down there from where he was.
To have a jump putt on this hole, that to me is crazy. And Clay.
And this is Clay having a jump putt.
Yeah.
That was an insane drive that he had. really giving it a chance, just missed right. You can see Carl looking at this, not sure 100% what he wants to do.
Easy there, Carl.
Hold it up there, big guy.
Yeah. Well, thing to note, too, that huge stature sometimes is tough to get into the woods like that and squeeze in there as he hits pretty early.
He's got to be a good 6'4", 6'5", I bet.
Yeah.
Joel, not quite his best effort, but still should be within his range. Carl with one tree in the way, just makes you think about it.
Oh.
Great putt there by Carl.
Yeah, what a wonderful putt. He kind of has like a Kevin Jones type straddle putt where he reaches way down and gets a lot of extension to finish.
Yeah, he just has a Greg Barsby height, though, on his putt.
Yeah. He's got a little Kevin, a little Greg.
Either way, that's smooth.
Well, you're taller than two of them combined, so.
Clay, a little bit of work left. He's been pretty solid on these 15 to 20-foot putts, though. Might be able to see some competition behind us there. That's for the next hole.
Yeah, some people say that they never like looking at other players, while others say they love, like, all right, I watched him miss that putt on hole 14 in this instance, or 15, I should say. And, are you a guy that looks back? Do you look at the card ahead of you?
No, not typically. Not usually looking at that type of stuff. Trying to stick to my own game.
For sure. And that's the best way to do it, in my opinion, as well. But some people just love knowing. They just love to know where they are at all times.
Yeah. I got my good friends. I keep an eye on them. You can always know their attitude. Mitch and I have talked about this as well, too. He knows if I'm doing well or not by my stride.
Have you pegged me yet, Ben?
I haven't got a Derek. Derek's too happy all the time. He's hard to read. I can't do it. Joel, solid putt. Again, not his best effort on that upshot.
Yeah, you can get into a lot of trouble on this hole, and to see these guys honestly kind of fillet this hole.
Yeah, it's a couple birdies, couple pars.
Yeah.
There he is, putting that headphone back in.
Mm-hmm. He wanted to hear the chains, hitting his disc.
Clay with the rip there. I said a couple birdies, couple pars. Definitely interesting to see Clay with some tattoos. I remember when he was just a kid in the sport, maybe 14 years old, 15 years old, I bet at the time. And he's got the box here on the very challenging hole 16, 336 feet. You need that understable fairway driver on this hole. Hyzer flip and then just get the disc to travel straight after it travels about halfway down the hole. He almost got that right, but just inside. And that's a tough shot from there to get up and down with a lot of trees in his way.
Yeah, and you are right. This is it's a very awkward hole. You need something hyzering, but going straight at the same time, and then having a very late fade.
Yeah, so you need that understable disc, but you can't roll it over. You got to keep it on a good angle, and then usually you're still going to fade away from the hole at the end and probably have to hit a 30-foot putt at best. Grant throwing this very, very well. Looks like he's throwing a little more overstable and expecting the skip, which was perfect for him.
Oh, wow, yeah, that was his lift, and that was impressive. That is such a tough angle.
Yeah, that looked a little more stable than I was expecting to see. Joel really sawing one off here, but he traveled a very long way up that fairway.
Yeah, getting into that stuff early on the left is detrimental, and having it go all the way through is an absolute. It's amazing. That is.
And Carl
nice.
Throwing almost the perfect forehand. It looks like. Don't tell me that's OB.
Yeah,
so it
inches.
looks like they're trying to separate this hole from the next hole. The fairways are right alongside each other. And that's so unfortunate to be 30 feet from the hole and be OB.
Yeah, and it does say par 3, but it's probably one of the most difficult par 3s on this course, and Carl should have a decent putt for, in my eyes, a birdie, but a par in this instance.
Yeah. It's hard to call it a tweener, but it's definitely a bonus birdie.
Oh, for sure.
And you get in a lot of trouble. Clay throwing a really good shot here.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have a good chance to get up and down. Again, so unfortunate that this is OB for Carl.
Yeah, I'd really love to see him hit this putt here.
Gave it a great chance. I'm always happy when I keep it high enough that even if it hits high on the basket, I'm fine with that. I just don't want to hit that front cage.
That front cage is...
Oh, it hurts so
the
much.
Bong.
Yeah, there you go. It just hurts.
Joel.
It hurts the soul.
It does. And if Grant, he's knowing he's going to be picking up some strokes if he can make this putt here.
This would be big for him. Definitely looks focused. He knows he wants this. Solid.
Nice and flat as well.
Oh, yeah, dead center. That's a great putt for Grant. Last few holes, he's really been starting to make his stride. Let's see if he can try to catch up to Joel, as he's going to be taking a bogey on this hole, I believe.
Yeah, there will definitely be a shakeup here.
Carl, probably just because he's tall again, makes this a little awkward. Right up against the tree.
Here's a question for you, Ben. If your lie is pretty onto a tree, do you turn your foot or do you try to keep your feet as straight as possible? Does that make sense? So that, like, if your disc is right up against a tree, you have your mini down, do you turn your foot to the side to get in there, or do you try to keep your foot straight and have it on an angle on that tree?
Kind of depends on the lie, what's around it, but typically I'll try to just kind of get that toe in, just keep that toe into that zone.
Gotcha.
It just gives you a little bit more room to work with, I feel like. Grant with a perfect shot there.
He kind of has the James Conrad hair going. Just kind of flowing as he throws a great shot. This is a one-stroke ball game.
Yeah, things got really tight really quick here. This is going to be some fun finish here. As we enter hole 17, 249 feet. You can see the hill kind of falls away behind these guys as well as to the left of this entire hole. And we already saw the OB between this fairway and the last basket we played on the right side of the fairway.
Yeah, and this forehand can be tricky. You just want to be over on it enough. Ooh.
I think this is far enough. It's past where that OB is. So that's going to be a hindrance of a lie in those bushes.
Yeah, and those bushes have grown for the last few years.
And again, to the left of this fairway, it just is so steep, pretty much a cliffside. And on the right side is the OB. So this is a treacherous hole right now. And Clay throwing a very good shot, probably about 30 feet left for his birdie.
I feel like this hole does play better for that backhand, just straight into the hillside, have it slide on up as Joel early release again.
He might be feeling the tides turn here as he's had a couple tough holes in a row. Be really good to see him get up and down from there, but it's not going to be easy. And Carl's got such a smooth forehand. And that should have been all the way up to the basket. Just hit one of those last trees. Probably about 40 feet left now with a big tree in his way.
Yeah, and uphill as well.
That looked like a tough lie, and he hit one of those late trees coming out of the woods. Great shot there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, before his tap in four. There's the last basket and those OB flags that separate the two fairways.
Yeah, I'm curious as to where, if Grant did get far enough up, like you said. Oh,
wow.
What a run.
I did not think he was going to go Annie on that putt. That was a very difficult lie there, trying to go around the tree on the left side. Clay's putt has been looking very smooth.
Yeah, uphill. You got that tree on the right, but his hyzer putt, it doesn't matter. Dead center.
Yeah, he's got such a clean release. Really fun to see him make some strokes up here, try to catch back up to our leaders.
Grant looks like he's got a window here through these bushes. I'm thinking he's looking to capitalize on this.
Definitely didn't look like his natural putt. More of a lofty putt versus his flatter straight putt. Just came up short, and Carl tapping in his par. Grant will be doing the same, and Joel here for his bogey. Again, take a big moment here to thank our sponsors. They've been just awesome. Again, allowing us to give you guys coverage, let us out on the road, covering our local tournaments as well too, with OTB Discs, Rubber Bandits, Social CBD, and Hammock Gear. Make sure you guys get out there, support them. It helps support us as well too, as we see this huge growth in disc golf, and it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, and the links will be down in the description as well. Absolutely check those out. They are amazing products. I can't say enough good about them, honestly.
Yeah, yep. And here we have Clay finishing up our last hole of the middle 9 here on hole 18. Call it Scanny Skip, 229 feet. Known after Tim Scanlon, throwing a sweet Scanny Skip on this hole. The hole's a little bit different at the time from what I've heard. Again, this is a little bit before my time, at least up in the Twin Cities. Clay putting it up there, giving himself a putt. This is one you really want to get. The hole is just right there. There's one limb about 100 feet off the tee that you just want to get underneath that, but still keep height on the disc.
Yeah, and I think speed control is very difficult on this hole because you almost feel like you want to land about 70 short as Grant pins it.
Yeah,
and it just
30 feet short is
up
perfect.
There. Yeah,
you landed right where you want to land. If you land much shorter than that, you don't get a good slide.
I'm curious to see. Carl loves throwing pigs. I am assuming that this is a pig here.
I think we've seen him throw this orange one a few times on upshots already today.
Yeah, his pigs are nice and beat in as well. They're a little on the semi-gummy side and not too stiff, and that's a great shot, especially with that forehand.
Yeah, right inside the circle there. Joel, knowing Grant's parked, really wants to put this one up there. And he knew he let it low right over his hand.
Yeah, it looks like it's just the early case of the early releases here. And that is a smart play by Joel. That green falls off really fast right behind it, and laying that up was a smart choice.
Yeah, very deceiving. A lot of grass up to the green, and then about 20 feet short, it's all dirt and slightly goes downhill from the hole. So gets very fast, very quick. Good bid, just a little low from Clay.
And Carl on this right side where a lot of the forehands tend to go. His putt has been feeling pretty good today. Yeah. Nice putt, Carl.
Solid. I definitely needed a birdie in this moment here. He's been lacking the last couple holes. Great shot.
Yeah, and he's had some obstructed putts this round, with all those straddlers he's been doing. He's been, making them, but, like I said, he's a staggered putter, and he's, kind of straight on with the basket, and having to do all those straddle putts, it kind of makes you double think about your normal putt.
Yeah, definitely can wear on you. Joel making an easy up and down from where he was, but missing out on the birdie opportunity, and Grant, don't hit your head, bud.
Wow. Jeez, what a mix-up that we had from the beginning of this middle part to now.
Yeah, the tides have turned a little bit. I mean, we still got a kind of a 2-horse race with Grant and Joel, but they switched spots there. Grant's taking the lead for the first time, at least in that middle part of the coverage, and it's going to be fun to watch these guys battle. So make sure you guys come back for the final 9. Signing off here from Ben Kroll.
Derek Sahr, and make sure to tune in. This is going to be a battle till the end. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy.